something like this. So in your platform, whatever tool you're using, could be SaberImpact, of course, but it could be another one. The trigger will be someone is added to the donor list. So, it explains it. And right away, you want to send a welcome email. So an email that will say, welcome to the family. We're so happy to have you with us. That you make a difference. This is how your donation helps, and just welcome people. But it doesn't have to end there. Then you can have a delay, let's say a week or 7 days, and then you send another email. An email that is the type of email like you're making a difference. This is how we're using your donation. This is how many hungry kids you're feeding or whatever. So make it very tangible, very very visual for the person, and so you just remember the person will remember how what difference they're making with their donation. So this is just a quick one. So it's a welcome email, a delay, and then another email. But actually, one of the best practice to do would be to then add another delay of maybe a month, and then every month you're sending one of these emails for the first, throughout the first year. That's the example that I saw when I was doing my research. We have many customers, users that do things similar to that. So if you have nothing, start with a welcome email, and then you can add a delay and send a second email. And what's cool with email automation or marketing automation is that you can put something very simple together, and then with time you can add to it. So if you start off with just 2 emails, and then later on you come up with another email, you add it to the sequence at the end of the sequence, and then later on you build another email, you add it to the end of the sequence. So it doesn't have to be something that you build and is complete and runs. You can always add to it. So I have a little example. I have a fictitious nonprofit. So Save a Pup. So every month your donation will save 5 pups in need. So, and obviously there's a cute puppy picture, so it's easy. In that case, who doesn't like puppies? But just, welcome. This is Stuart. Stuart was rescued thanks to Save a Pup donors like you. Every month, on average, we're able to save pups like Stuart from each donors. And then you can always have a link for people who want to learn more. So always have, always having a call to action and an email and one call to action is a good best practice. And you bring people back to your website. Maybe it's a blog article or something like that, or an update on what you've been able to recently achieve. Okay, so another workflow that we can put together, another example of a marketing automation scenario that could work very well is to nurture subscribers or event attendees and try to turn them into donors. So, like today, we have an event. You registered. So Tech4Good, they have your email. So you're doing events, or maybe on your website. People who come and want to learn more about your nonprofit, and maybe they read 1 or 2 blog articles. Well, somewhere on their website, hopefully they can subscribe to your newsletter. So every day, every week, every month, you have more leads. So people who subscribe to your newsletter, people who attended an event, things like that. But rarely do we take the time to really set together, put up content and something automatic to try to nurture them, keep them in the loop, and in the long haul, turn them into donors. So I have another neat little visual workflow. So the trigger could be simply someone who subscribed on your website to your newsletter. Or it could be someone that physically gave their email address. Obviously, we want to be respectful of their permission, and we want to be compliant with the castle. So they have to know that you'll email them. and give their consent. But once that's done, you can add them to a list, and then you could automatically, have an email that is sent and send them relevant info about their interest. So a simple way to do that is to treat basically everyone the same. So you put everyone who subscribes on your website, you put them in the same list, and then there's a trigger that sends them an email on the topic that is relevant to them. If you wanted to go a bit further, have something a bit more complicated, let's say on your subscription form, you ask a question. I don't know. Are you more of a cat or a dog person? Let's say. Let's say that we save pups, but we also save kittens. So we ask them a question, and we will, according to their answer, we will send them automatically to different lists, and they will receive a different email. So you can personalize your content, personalize your emails that way. When people subscribe, they can tell you more about them, and then be separated in different groups or different lists. But if you have a subscription box on your website, and all you do with them is maybe send them like a manual newsletter once a month, or once every blue moon, you can have something that is more automatic. So as soon as I subscribe on your website, you send me, or maybe you can wait a day, 2 days, a week, whatever. You can always add a delay here, but you send relevant information. And then you have a delay, could be 30 days, could be 2 weeks, whatever. And then you send another relevant email. When I talk about content, the easiest way to do that is to send links to blog articles. So if you're writing content, maybe content that you already have, you take the most popular post on your blog, right? Or if you're publishing new content, simple emails with the call to action, and people click and go read more on your website. So it's a good practice to have call to action because it's simple for people, and if they want to know more, they'll click and they'll go back on your website. And on your website, they're in your environment. There, they will see a call to action, maybe to attend your next event. Maybe they will see, like a button to become a donor. So bring them back to your website, which is like your home base. But at the same time, email automation allow us to go even further. So I can say that if someone clicks a link to learn more, to go back to my website, I can automatically send them an email, say, hey, I saw that you were interested in so-and-so topic. Would you consider going to our next event? Or would you consider becoming a donor? Okay, so instead of someone subscribe and maybe they receive nothing, or they just receive your newsletter, or maybe they directly receive like an email that actively asks them for money, what you can do instead is send content, and when people show interest because they click a link, then they receive an email that asks them for money. That's an easy example also from Save a Pop. So sometimes we have to, how can I say, we have to communicate about things, how things are, and are not always positives. So undo the damage, saving Pop from animal testing in China, whatever. And it's a blog article, and read now. So if someone clicks here, or actually the system can know if someone goes on my website and spends some time on my website, that can also be a trigger to send them a follow-up email and ask them if they would like to be donors. Sometimes in the business world, they have salespeople on the phone or whatever, and if we go back there, so instead of calling all the leads, maybe a good idea is to call the leads that at least click the link on an email that we sent them. So if you do that, if you do manual outreach, if you on the phone or whatever, maybe your best leads or the people that you should call are the ones that in the system at least have shown to have interest and they click on the link to go to your website. engage with lapsed members or donors. So obviously, you want those people back when maybe their membership expired or maybe they stopped their regular donations. Your system probably knows that. So you want them back. You want to let them know that you want them back. And so the potential workflow for those membership in the past 3 months who lapsed, the trick is to start with the assumption that they just forgot, they slipped their mind. So that's a good way to start. So the trigger is the membership expired, and then we send them an email like, hey, don't miss out. You may have forgotten to renew. So just something like a reminder. And then we can wait, let's say like 7 days. If they haven't responded or they haven't clicked or anything like that, we can send them an email which more explains like, here's why your membership matters. Again, like saving $5 a day or $5 a month, something like that. And then you don't want to be too aggressive. You can always increase those delays if it feels like it's too much. So we have another delay, and we send them more relevant content, blog articles, things like that, updates on what your organization has been able to do. And then maybe another delay if nothing happened, then I would maybe send them a survey, like, can we know why you decided to stop? And obviously, even though it's a survey and you assume that they stopped, add a call to action to also renew. So maybe it really did slip their mind and they were aware or something like that. Or you could maybe give them a call to know more. But instead of like almost doing nothing with the expired membership or ownership, or instead of having the big task of contacting everyone manually or emails or the phone, at least you have an automatic workflow. Like a lot of people maybe just forgot and they will renew here or renew here. Maybe you'll have some good, valuable information from the phone calls or the surveys that you put together at the end of the workflow. I like when people take pictures. At least it's like, oh, okay, this is like interesting enough. It seems important enough to take a picture. All right, so those are the only 3 workflows that I'll talk about today. It's not the end of the presentation, but obviously, like those are maybe the more obvious. Welcoming donors, nurturing leads and try to make them become donors, and also like automating the follow-up that we do when something expires. Start small, and you can always add to it, like I said. But maybe it also like sparks ideas for you. Like these are the obvious things, but I don't know all the things that you do in your particular organization. Maybe it gives you ideas of other things that you could, other communication, other emails that you could automate. So quickly, I wanted to talk about the different types of emails that you could send and that you could automate. We'll just go quick because I know that a lot of you send those types of emails. So it's just like as a roundup to have an overall overview. So obviously event invitations. It will be hard. Like I don't know if you have evergreen events, like recurring events. So if you have that, then it's very easy to automate them, like automate the invitations. I know that for Cyber Impact, I have like a weekly webinar. So obviously all of those invitations are automated. So if you have that, that's good. So think about like evergreen invitations that you can do. If it's a one-off event and it will be hard to automate, maybe you'll do like a standard newsletter and you'll include it, or just like a one-off email that you do manually. Newsletters are also tricky. So newsletter in the traditional sense of things is more something that, let's say, you send every month, and then it's all the news, like the updates, new blog articles, maybe if you have events, you'll put all the relevant information that is like timely. But you can have newsletters that are like a bunch of important information that is also evergreen content. So all of your most popular blog articles are FAQ, frequently asked questions, or like I said, events that are also evergreen. So we think of newsletters as things that we need to manually send, and that's true, but also try to see if you can automate some of them. So obviously, donation appeals, so maybe that will be the kind of email that we would send to someone who clicked a newsletter or clicked a link to go read more about a topic. So then we automate a donation appeal like that. And the thank you email. Like I said, the thank you email, the most basic thing that you can do if you don't already do it is when someone makes a particular action that is meaningful, send an automatic thank you email. And in that thank you email, it's also like a good opportunity to add at least one call to action for people who want to take the next step. And retention email, so that's an example. People are happy, but life is hard. So I would say that this is your turn now to create your own marketing automation scenarios. Obviously, if you probably already do email marketing, so check if your actual platform allows you to automate some of those things. They may not. If you want a good Canadian option, you can also consider Cyber Impact. So it's cyberimpact.com, and yeah, you'll find everything on our website. And 12:33. I'm here for questions. I'm here for feedback, ideas, things that you want to exchange with me, but also with the rest of the group.
So what are some tools, though, to manage email automation, aside from Cyber Impact? What are some of the, say, recommended tools?
Recommended tools?
Yeah.
Well, you need like an email automation, like an email marketing. I would say that most email marketing platforms nowadays at least have a little bit of automation. So it's true for Cyber Impact, it's true from MailChimp, which is our biggest competitor. It's true for most of them. Then you need to have like subscription forms on your website or like landing pages, stuff like that. And then that you can connect with your email marketing platform so that people are automatically added, like all the triggers that we saw. You don't want to have to, let's say, Slack. So you don't want to have to add necessarily people manually here. So probably a CRM. So probably like some kind of like database that where you have everyone, and when you add people there, are you able to send like a notification to the email marketing platform that that membership has lapsed? Even here, if it's as simple as someone filled out a form on your website, well, you don't want it to be like a manual task of exporting everyone that submitted the form and then adding everyone to the platform. So you want to connect tools or use a subscription form that is directly from the tool. But for landing pages, I know that I use Unbounce. So Unbounce is very good. It's also, I'm not mistaken, it's a Canadian company also, Unbounce. So if you need to do like a special page for an event, or then you don't need to be like You don't need to have access to your website. You don't need to be a coder or a programmer or even a talented designer, because I'm not, but I create landing pages. So yeah, Unbounce, and you connect things like that to your email marketing platform, and yeah, probably a CRM. But I'm sure that most of you have some kind of database, and sometimes the challenge is to connect everything. So I use Zapier for that. If you don't know Zapier, you can look into it. It's an easy way to connect a lot of online services together. So like Cyber Impact can be connected through Zapier. Unbounce can be connected through Zapier. A lot of CRMs can be connected through Zapier also. So it's less complicated than to have to rely on API and stuff like that. I know some people you nodded, so I know that some you know Zapier and you use it.
No, we don't use it.
You know of?
I know of it, yeah. But I struggle because we have, it's hard to connect.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. It's hard to connect everything together. Things like Zapier helps, but if you have like almost like a homemade tool or like a database, it is something that is very rare, that it won't be supported. Sometimes it's hard.
I was just gonna say I'd use Zapier to like have a Google form feed into a Google Sheet that's connected to MailChimp. And
Okay.
They're working fairly well.
It works, yeah. Kind of like a Frankenstein machine that you build yourself. But yeah, it works. And why did you have to use a Google form?
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
This was a few years ago, but it was at the time that was like the easiest thing.
Yeah.
This is like a volunteer thing that I do, and our member coordinator isn't really like he's doing a lot of things by hand, and I wanted to try to test some automation.
Automate some things, yeah.
So,
It was
look, you can do this, and I was trying to show him, it doesn't need to be as complicated as you're making it.
Yeah. It was a legacy thing to use Google Forms. Yeah, sometimes it's that, because it could be a form probably built directly in MailChimp, so then you can eliminate 2 steps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was, and maybe you can tell me, but there were some more complex questions that I think we wanted to ask and capture data for that we weren't necessarily plugging all of that into MailChimp.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Okay. Does anyone already have automation workflows such as these running? Kind of? A little one? A small one? What do you use it for?
Just for a newsletter. So I was just interested, like these workflows were all sort of interesting to me, but I don't remember maximizing. Like it's pretty ad hoc. Again, it's for like a volunteer thing on the side, and the more we can automate it, the more we can like free up volunteer time to like focus on the other things. So I'm interested in sort of piloting.
Yeah. Because the basic email marketing stuff, and it's good to still do it, but it's we send an email every month, and it's like the news of the past month. So that's fine. Keep doing that. So when I talk to small businesses, the same thing. That's like the basic thing they do. And when I say start with automation, it seems like a big thing, but probably the easiest thing, the one that you can do right away, is a thank you email. So the thank you email when someone fills out a form is very easy to do, and it'll increase the experience. Oh, cool! Like they welcome me, and at the same time, like I said, in that welcome email, you can have links to like the most popular articles. You can have a call to action to attend the next event, whatever. Like it's an opportunity to give more information and direct people towards the next step that you want them to take. You like just redirect.
Well, I was saying go there.
I was going to say we use it's we do some marketing automation where I work, and we don't use, I don't know Southern Impact, but we use get response.
Okay.
And it's much like that, and it's really has this element of to focus on automation, but really that workflow. And so it has a drag and drop interface to design that workflow and interface, and it's kind of changed how we do our outbound emails. And it's you do a lot less like email blasts. You do more just workflows that start with like maybe just one email.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as soon as someone falls into that bucket, they just kind of plink go through different workflows. But
most of the tools have like pretty visual drag and drop tools that you just place your things, so it's not like super technical or very hard to design. And also like. Well, what we do when someone becomes a lead on our website, they sign up for a free account. Then they'll receive like blog articles and like important information that we want them to have. So that frees up also like our help desk. So the help team, they receive less questions, and we educate people. So a lot of email marketing automation, especially, is educating people or leads or subscribers or potential donors or even donors. So yeah, it's all about that. And also sometimes there's a lot of things that we need to do, and you're like, oh, this month we don't have time to send a newsletter. So then you kind of feel bad, and people don't hear from you like in 60 days, 90 days, sometimes more. But if you have some of those things that are sent automatically, actually people hear from you a lot more often. So you stay top of mind. So that's another big advantage. Yes.
I have a question. So your company, you said the biggest competitor is MailChimp.
Yeah.
Is it MailChimp or HubSpot? So
MailChimp.
Okay, so you're autoresponder company, right? You're email autoresponder company.
Yeah, you can call it autoresponder, like email marketing. So yeah, you manage all of your contacts, different lists. We have tools to comply with Castle. Obviously forms that people can subscribe.
I, for example, as a client, I can import contacts to your platform, and then you would use your server to send emails.
Yes.
To
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
clients, right? So how do you make sure that your server stays clean? And that email gets into emails, because it is the most important email marketing to get your emails into emails, or to jump or some promotion emails. So what do you do?
Obviously, it's like a big part of our business to make sure that we have like clean servers and that the emails that are sent out are actually received. So it's the top of our priority always. So we have a team that only does that. Well, one of the things also is that we're a Canadian company, and our market is like 99% Canada. So all of our servers are in Canada. So it's if most of your like subscribers are in Canada, it's an advantage just to have the emails sent from Canada to Canada. So they're considered like local servers. And obviously we have many servers, and we monitor them, and we make sure that the reputation of the domains and the servers are 100%. So I don't know all the technical things that our team does, because it's not my expertise, but I know that we have a very good inbox percentage, and that
What is that percentage?
I don't know exactly, but I know that when I make my email blast, maybe I reach out to 10,000 people more or less, and my percentage is always like 99%. And a lot of that is like wrong emails and emails that don't exist anymore. So we have a pretty good average. You can make a test also.
What is the vetting process like? For example, people want to import the contacts. What is the process? How do you say, okay, you can import those contacts? Do you do anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's more technical than maybe the topic of today, but I don't have all the technical answers also. But
so are your clients mostly non-profit organizations?
No, we have a lot, but it's mostly small businesses. Yeah,
Because
maybe 5 to 10% that are not.
I had business in email marketing, and maybe this company Sendlane.
Oh, sorry.
They're dealing with a lot of email marketeers and declining online, those kind of businesses. So the vetting process is very stringent. That's why I'm surprised, like what you're saying, like the process, according to you, you can take any kind of client.
But we don't. We don't take any kind of clients. We monitor everyone that opens an account, and we monitor everyone that imports contacts.
How do you like just what kind of business a client is, or what do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I know like you were in the industry and you're asking very, very specific questions. I don't have all the answers. But you can ask our customer service. Yes.
I'm wondering if one of the tools automatically deal with people who are on multiple flows, because we've tried to map this a number of times, and where we often get caught up is like we'll have some super heaters who will like sign a petition, donate, and join the newsletter like all at the same time. And so I get concerned about them ending up in multiple flows and getting multiple, like so many emails from all these different flows. Is that something that most tools like automatically take into account?
Yeah, not all the tools, but probably one of the solutions to that is to have conditions that you have to meet in order to be in a flow and to stay in a flow. So sometimes if the type of user changes, then they're like kicked out of a workflow.
Okay.
So let's say here that if this is a trigger for like email subscribers or like these people who are not donors, but once their status changes, then they obviously need to stop receiving those emails. So maybe it's conditions that you can do like that. Like if you subscribe to the newsletter, it's like conditions that you meet to enter a workflow. And when certain conditions, like when you don't meet those conditions anymore, then you won't be you won't finish the workflow.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe like types of users.
Yeah.
I know also like not us, but some more like robust tools that are also kind of like a CRM. They will use like a scoring system, and sometimes like depending on the score, so you'll have a score like how many lists you're subscribed to, or how many times like you visit the website, or how many times you open and click emails. So you can segment people in terms of their score. So when their score changes, they'll go to another workflow, but they'll be gone from the first workflow.
One thing we've done too is if someone clicks through a certain pathway, you can also, depending on the software, you can tag them or put them on another list. Like, do not contact in this scenario list. And so it's complicated, but you can block them from other flows if they go through a certain flow.
Yeah. So it doesn't get pretty messy.
It gets messy for sure. It gets complicated, but depending on the tool, you should still be able to do it if you're technically savvy. You still don't need to be a developer.
Yeah, there's a way to do it or to reduce it. At the same time, if they're super users, then it's probably okay that they receive more emails than someone that is not as engaged. So it depends. It needs to be relevant. If I subscribe to a newsletter, like I'm okay with receiving like a welcome email and like another email about something else I did. You want to reduce it, and also the pacing. Like if you have a long delay, like 30 days, and it makes things not sad.
How do you track the success of kind of these flows, or play around with stuff?
Well, it depends on the goal. But let's say here, if the goal is to nurture them and try to entice them into becoming something else, like a donor or an attendee, then you could. Some tools will allow you to even have like a goal. You set up a goal of that workflow, and then you can have like a conversion percentage. Yeah. If not, well, you do it manually, but yeah, give it a goal and.
On your flow here, you have if they click, in terms of like an email and being interested in more information.
Yeah.
Is there a way, like, are you appending like a Google tag or anything onto it to see if they actually stay on that page? Or are you sending them to like a sign up page and that triggers kind of a true yes? Because I feel like a click is not necessarily a very good indicator of interest.
It could
If
be-
they're not staying.
Yeah, depending on the tool.
Yeah.
Opening an email or clicking a link are like the easiest
Yeah.
triggers, or like filling out a form or being added to a list.
Mhm.
But a lot of tools also will you will install a tracking code on your website. So it could be like a certain URL that they visit. It could be a trigger, or sometimes just a certain URL and a time of the visit. So if you're on my, I don't know, let's say if you're on my event page for more than 1 minute, and you don't sign up, then you can like trigger a follow-up email. So
And is that run through like your tool or through Google?
it will be the tool. Yeah, it will be the tool. You would add the tools tracking code onto your website. It won't be with like Google Analytics or anything like that. There's probably, I don't even think there would be a way for Google Analytics to send data to the tool and then to trigger. Yeah. It will be the tool's own tracking code.
So your tool does that kind of tracking.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, so here I work for an organization called One Campaign. We do the last member automation thing. We're an advocacy organization. We don't collect donations or anything like that. We just invite people to take advocacy actions, and our time limit for like what we would consider a last member is a 12-month period. So then we send what we call internally our reactivation series, which usually includes things like you talked about, blog content, and invitation to participate in what we consider to be like a global campaign. If they engage in that, then they go back into the like Canada stream if they're a member in Canada. And then because we're an advocacy organization, we're interested in offering our members a variety of different actions that they can take online, not only signing an online petition, but potentially tweeting at the member of parliament, things like that. So we're experimenting with a tool called New Mode, which gives access to everything from a database of MPs, Twitter accounts, to local media. So you can do a lot of different things, email addresses for MPs. So with that tool integrated with whatever email marketing client you're using, it gives you a lot of different things that you can then track member activities, and then that feeds into what you talked about, like the kind of point classification system.
So you do that. You have some triggers that say someone is
We
has
still
10 points. Then
Yeah, exactly. We still send a fair amount of like manual emails to like usually quite targeted lists, but there's some automation and tracking involved in terms of how we classify.
Yeah, awesome. That's good. Thanks.
Yeah, the key there is to be able to take that action, whatever they do, whether it's fill out a form or some other action deep in the website, and feed that back into like the CRM or the database so that you know what they've done recently and their behavior, so you can use that to trigger something else. That's the toughest. That's the toughest.
Yeah, that's good. Good. Charlotte? Oh, 2 minutes. Oh, good. I wasn't sure it was like nobody has a question, but then we filled the time. All right. Well,
Thank you, Antoine. I'll back up quickly with my list of things to tell you guys. So thank you all for joining us, for spending your lunch with us today. We hope that we see you all again soon. Huge shout out to our sponsors who make this possible. They help us rent space here. They help us feed you guys. So that would be rebel.com, Industrial, and Speedy Rail. Yay! We have some exciting stuff coming up. We have a session
So stay tuned for some more details on that. We also have our biannual random acts of kindness coming up in October. Brett, if you want to mention anything about that?
No, we have some good organizations signed up already, and if certainly we're open to participants and developers and come and sort of work on some of the great projects. And if not, come on this Sunday to watch some of the presentations for. Again, that's Random Acts of Kindness. It's a hackathon for social good. RHOK.ca, and come and check it out.
Yes, if you're on our email list, you'll get emails about it. And that's it for today. Thank you guys again. And as always, this is something that we put on as volunteers for you guys. So we welcome any feedback. If there are sessions you want to hear about, if there are topics that you have in mind, if there are speakers, if you want to speak, our inboxes are open. Come chat with us. Send us an email, tweet us, whatever. Send us a carrier pigeon. We would love to talk to you. Thank you guys.
You know the topic is
Yeah.
as usual.